All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Tuesday, August 6, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So pretty much a picture-perfect day in terms of level-to-level action here. So we did have a gap higher this morning, and I talked about this in the trading room, and I even gave the levels out on Twitter, which I do sometimes, but really all day long, ever since we broke this opening range here, it was pretty clear that they were going to target 5,300 to 5,315. And the level I said yesterday is you want to clear, well, 52.25 here, aka 520 SPY, and then really this pivot here, 52.50. But they were targeting that 5,300 all day. We went up there. I said 10 to 53 to 53.15. Picture perfect right into 53.11. We did catch SPY short there as well. I did cover before this extra little dump here towards the end of the day, but pretty, level to level, perfect action here. And the market's acting a lot better. Yesterday it was obviously volatility very high. So you're just going to see things all over the map here, but much more the market was much more behaved today than it was yesterday. Even though it was kind of, the volatility was, we had these tight ranges yesterday, even with the VIX, hitting 66 pre-market, or at least, on the open. But either way, definitely very good level to level action here. And right now, basically just round tripping down to 52.25. There was a level at 52.15 that I mentioned in the short video this morning that would be support if we got down there. We didn't, but we did back off of that level, and this is major resistance. I told this to members pretty much all day, and again, I said this on Twitter as well. Major level here. Don't be surprised if the bears show up, and they did. If we get through this area, you're going to see another 100-point squeeze very quickly. But we've also just bounced. If we just look at let's go to the ES here. In 2 days, 51.21 to 53.50. So you're looking at, this is a massive move here, right? There's, 150, but it's like 200 something points here off the lows. So very good action, even though it doesn't look like much. Today's rally doesn't really look like much, but it's a lot. That's 120 points from here to here. So there is going to be volatility, and we still have the VIX. It's a lot lower than it was, but it's still just barely shy of 30. Now, we did get into Friday's range on the VIX, so that did calm things down a little bit. So we got within Friday's range. But I told you guys to watch the VVIX, right? Look at what it did. It went and tested yesterday's low, and that's where it stopped. So 130, then we started to kind of uptick a little bit. Markets didn't top out till about 230, 245. But then we saw that little dump towards the end of the day there. So again, as long as this remains elevated, this starts to really, creep down, and we get back below Friday's low. We're going to look for a much more robust rally off the lows. But so far, very good bounce and levels respecting perfectly. So love to see that in a market, and it's definitely a trader's market right now when those levels kind of respect. When you get these free fall modes, it's a little tough here because when you're knife selling, you get a good level, but sometimes it doesn't always hold, right? This held Friday. We pierced it perfectly. We went right to 5,300. We closed back above 53.25. But Monday morning, it all gets wiped out, and, you get that knife edge selling. But right now, levels are respecting much better, and the line in the sand is very clear to me. So 53, I'm going to say 15 to 25. Really above Friday's low. We got rejected right here, but definitely 25. You get above that with conviction, with acceptance, we will go right to 5,400. That's where we broke down before, and that's the next big level. So, but right now, bears coming in here and flexing a little bit. So it's not going to be a straight line, but so far, pretty good bounce here. We'll see what we get tomorrow. We do have, lately, these haven't been that important, but now the 10-year auction is tomorrow. That will be, I think, important because the market's freaking out about yields right now. But if we look at, let me just I'll go to the full 10-year. So this is the configuration that's helping the market rally right now. and that is the fact that the 10-year is bouncing. So I talked about the 370 level, and there it is. Additionally, you have the yield curve unwinding with yields up. I think the market likes that even more because a normalization of the yield curve without yields crashing down means that, the economy is, I mean, it's not to say that we're going to have a soft landing or anything, but that's kind of what that's suggesting, at least right now, right? If the yield curve was unwinding and yields were crashing, which they've been doing for the last week or so, that's where the market starts to freak out a little bit. But yields bouncing with the yield curve unwind kind of calms things down a little. You also had gold down today, right? So gold backing off. Why is that a big deal? Well, if there's less panic, you're probably not buying into safe havens and TLT. Big rejection there at that level. So good down move. Yields coming down, gold coming down, dollar getting a little uptick. That's helping to warm up investors towards the economy. And then you also have, like I said, the VVIX and the VIX coming in. They did come off the lows, but they are coming in. So that calmed things down here. But tomorrow, we got to watch levels here. And again, right now, it feels strange to be doing like such intraday levels here. But the market, we have 20-point swings every 10 minutes here. But, there's a little bit of a level here at 25, obviously. That's a point of control. And then 52. 51.75, and then the big line in the sand, the last line in the sand is 51.50 in the short term. If we take that out, we will likely make new lows. I don't know if that's just a pierce or what. Again, we just had a bounce here, so if you're a bear, you probably don't want us testing that tomorrow, right? Because we're going to get back up to max fear really quickly. You'd probably want us to do one of those, right? And then you can kind of a roll over type effect. But if we were to have a sharp rejection tomorrow, you're probably going to get to max fear, get the VIX is just going to explode again, and then you're going to get real capitulation really fast. We already had 140 million, I think, yesterday, 146. So for bears, you want to be in control, but you want to see us stay below this level because we get above that. There's, you can see the 540 there on SPY. That's where we're going to go next. So that's what I'm looking at here today. And again, keep it simple. Forget all the narratives and just follow price here. There's a lot of narratives out there right now, and I think focusing too much on them is just going to just take you away from, it's extra noise. Speaking of, there is obviously the geopolitical risk right now with, Iran, Israel. The thing is, the market also knows about this. This is not sneaking up on anybody. So you could get it, there is risk there. We could get a slice down. But again, like if it happens tomorrow, your vol's it's still already at 27. So it's down a lot, yes, but it's still at 27. So could it spike to 100? Yeah, I guess it could. But then you're going to get to max fear. And that's why a lot of the time they always say buy the invasion. It works. People laughed at me when I said buy the invasion here. And that was the exact low, right? Ukraine, that was the exact low right there. Granted, we went into a bear phase after that, but, not after a 400-point rally, right? So just be aware of that stuff. So anyways, triple Qs here. Again, closing right at 440. Yeah, there was a lot of ODTE stuff right there at 440 today. So they did reel it back in by the end of the day. I do like, though, for bulls that the Qs did hold up a lot better today. Look at Meta. Meta went all the way back to $5. Meta is pretty strong here. Yeah, NVIDIA got a good bid, although it came off the highs by the end of the day. Apple, a lot of people were talking about Apple this morning because it was down. But, I mean, it rallied 20 points yesterday. That's a 10% move in Apple. Like, this is a $3 trillion company. So an inside day here is not terrible for Apple after that mega surge yesterday off the lows. It still ended up down a ton. But by the way, speaking of tech, let's look at SMCI. I think they should be reporting right now. So it doesn't look like they're out yet, but I'll try to take a look at that after. Or let's see if we got, it looks like Rivian is down. Let me just double check. I know there's a bunch of companies reporting right now. Airbnb taking a hit, and then I think Wynn as well. So Wynn taking a hit also. So let's see, ES down a little bit. These are kind of smaller companies. SMCI will be a much bigger deal. Amgen reporting. So Amgen down 5 points. So weak earnings season overall. SMCI has the potential to kind of save things a little bit here. But in any case, yeah, so Q's here backing off again. There's your line in the sand right there, 448, 450. IWM again bouncing up 1%. This has still got a lot of work to do. A resistance around 210, 212, and then the diamond here, you got to get back above 393. SMH with a good bid today, up 2%. It did come off the highs like everything else, but again defending that 200. Big level here at 230, massive level. Same thing with the stocks, about 48.70, 48.75. IGV closing right on the trend line there, so that's fitting. I think we did fill that gap though, 80.21. Yeah, we filled it to the penny. So nice there for IGV. It did back off, and then your next big level is right up here. But, you know, pretty much everything bouncing across the board. Transport's held up well too. Good tail candle yesterday, and they got a bid. Rates, again, we talked about a little bit, but the 10-year bouncing right where it was supposed to. I think a lot of people, I think, honestly, at this point, this trade's probably crowded. I think everybody panic longed into bonds, and that went right to support. Right to support. So we'll see if this can get a rebound here. Maybe back above 4, and then your big level is 4.15. 30-year here, big level is 433. And 5s here. Still got to get back above the breakdown, so around 375, but good bounce there. And then the same thing for 2, still got to get back above 4.1. But again, you can see the yield curve unwinding here. But with yields up, I think the market likes that a little bit here, and that's probably why we were rallying a little bit more. Home builders here, up 66 cents on the XHB. Got to get back above 110. Remember, daily chart, we had that failure. Not that it's a failure because it played out. Technically, it played out to pattern, but you did still close below the breakup bar. The weekly chart is still safe though at the moment. You're still in a very strong uptrend here, but you know, you had basically an engulfing candle last week. So I would just be neutral on home builders right now. VNQ, this is a strong sector today, and it came off the highs, but still pretty good though. So right into the 20 MA, and it's holding that, and it did it on volume too. So VNQ hanging in there. XLF got a bounce too, but came off the highs by the end of the day. KRE again following through just a little bit off of yesterday's bounce. Same thing with KBE. We talked about Goldman yesterday, and that followed through nicely. So Goldman's holding up much better than a lot of other banks from what I can see. JPM as well. Broker dealers here continuing to bounce up 2%, but they took a really good slice. This, believe it or not, though, could still end up being yet another higher low if they can recover. But really good slice there. Oil market here, flattish for the most part. I think on the COMEX, the futures were down. But yeah, it's holding that tail candle. So we sliced the low. We're holding that right now. Again, I don't have a bias on oil. I think it wants to go lower. This is why I don't really buy into as much of the Middle East fears right now, because this should be... why would it be down? It doesn't really make much sense. You can say, well, the economy is slowing down, but yields are up. So it's kind of a little contradictory. But I'm just avoiding oil right now. XLE managing to be green. Again, I talked about this again today, but XOM has held up really well. The PE is like 8. For all the complaints about PEs right now in the market, energy is ridiculously low. And it's heavily shorted too. And despite this whole meltdown here, XOM barely has done anything. It's held up really well. You have higher lows still on the daily. I like this a lot for maybe like a longer term play. Bullish inside bar on the monthly, inside of a larger bullish inside bar on the monthly. Heck, we can go out to like a quarterly. By the way, full disclosure, I don't own any, but this starts strong. But anyway, XLE up 53 cents. XOP up 47. Just took a massive haircut there, but starting to get cheap here. I'm very interested to see where OIH ends up the week, because if that can rebound inside of that wedge, I think that's definitely bullish. CCJ up 3.5. We'll see if that can put in a short-term bottom. It's oversold now. You're into the 100-week moving average. We talked about that. So that probably can get a bounce here. So I'm going to give that the upside bias for now. And again, perfect trend line hit, right? We talked about that yesterday. And the NJ just doesn't have enough. Well, I guess, yeah, we hit that. Yeah, we hit that breakout level. It's still a newer issue, though. It was flat today. Nat gas with a good bid today. It ran away from me this morning. I was trying to get in. I liked what it did on the hourly. So we had this up move. We kind of hourly bull flagged a little bit, and then it had one of those fake out hourly candles where it basically threatened to throw up into the lows, and then it rallied all the way back by the end of the hour. So look at that, right down and boom. And then it held out. I was looking for a dip buy. I just didn't quite get into it. But it got a nice little pop there. So, I mean, I'd give that the upside bias to 210 and maybe the 20 moving average. It's really, like, sellers are really exhausted here. Like, look at the RSI here. That's been making lower lows on price here, and it hasn't been doing that on the RSI. So we could get a counter trend pop here at some point soon on NG. Dollar fractionally higher here. So 102.50 getting defended. We'll leave it alone for now. Nothing to do there. Gold down a little bit, which we talked about. GDX bouncing. So GDX outperforming the price. That's not bad. Silver still a little bit soft here. I think if there is some another like deleveraging leg here in the market, I think that's where gold and silver get hit due to like margin selling. I think you want to buy that dip if that comes in the next month. SIL up a penny. It had that trigger yesterday. I didn't see it until it already bounced. But platinum, platinum up 0.5%. That's still soft. And palladium trying to hold the lows here. So it did close right back on that trend line. Copper up a penny. Haven't done anything with that yet. But it is attractive down here. Plus, again, I think everybody, right? Remember, everyone was copper to $20, up here. And now it's like the economy's crashing, copper to 0. So maybe starting to get a little crowded on the other side. All right, Bitcoin here, up nicely, up 4%. And again, look, we just went to the channel low. Everybody's like throwing themselves off a cliff. But until it breaks that, this is still a bullish structure here. So I don't really have any issues with Bitcoin. All you did is test your weekly 50 MA. I don't see any problems here. So at the moment, it's fine. ETH also bouncing, went right to that picture perfect level too. By the way, the Nikkei hit circuit breakers last night for upside volatility. I talked about that level, and it hit perfectly yesterday, and nice bid. Another foreign market I think is interesting here is the CAC 40. So look at this trend line on the French market, and really good level there, and it's oversold into it. I think there might be a 618 here too. Basically a 618 right there. Oh, sorry, 50% fib from that pivot, and then a 786 from this one. Let's see if there's a one from the macro pivot. Yeah, you're 236. So I think the CAC, that's going to be EWQ if you guys are interested in that. Again, this is just an idea. I'm not trading it, but this would be the ETF that does that. Just looking at those foreign markets. So anyway. So again, let's take a look at SMCI. Oh, save of the day, 715. So that's going to save tech a little bit here. So we got sells, all those other names. But tech, so NQ getting a little pop, and ES up a little bit too. So that's going to help out remember Palantir yesterday, I said that, like, that's going to help the market out because of the AI names. SMCI, another AI name. And yeah, that definitely helps the market out. This is an AI sell-off. It's a semiconductor sell-off. So if the semis bounce, look for the market to bounce. So, but all those other travel names did get hit, even though the transports were up nicely. RCL this morning had a huge bid, up 7.5. So wind kind of taking the wind out of that. Haha, very funny. But yeah, SMCI with a little bit of a save job there. And we'll see what we get tomorrow again. So I gave you guys the levels there. This is a big level here. So last Friday's low. Through that, we'll squeeze up again. But yeah, bears, you definitely want to see that defended. You want to see that VVIX stay elevated. But again, I think if tomorrow, if there's some serious volatility event, I think we had so much volatility Monday that if we do try to go down again, we're going to get to max fear again pretty quickly. So if you're a bear, you want to see that unwind first a little bit. And then you want to see another leg down. You want to see it kind of cool off here. We hit daily oversold, right? The last time we did that was April 19th exactly. And the same thing goes for the Qs. So you don't want us to try and push down really fast here, because then we're just going to get oversold again, and vol sellers are going to come in big time. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.